You've got a refined palate for yacht rock. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm classy yacht rock. Not that nasty bodunk yacht rock.
Boat rock, as we call it here.
Boat rock.
Hey.
Hello.
It's Video Game Podtimism, the Optimist video game variety show where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of video games.
Are you sure that's what it is?
Listen, I've been trying to do this for a little while. I was stumbling for about 50 episodes. I feel like I've got it kind of on lock now.
You really do. You came out of the gates strong. No time for banter, no time for foreplay. Let's just get to this.
It's because I wanted to get this part into listeners' ears before we do anything else. Hey, next week, we're going to be talking about Metal Gear Solid 1. So if you listen to nothing else of this episode, if you're like, hey, that game that I see in the title, I don't necessarily know what that is, and I don't really want to hear the rest. Hear this. Next week, we're going to do Metal Gear Solid 1, and only Metal Gear Solid 1. Maybe.
Hear ye, hear ye.
I need a big bell to go ring in the town square.
Can you just get a big bell like sound and just put that in right there? We will be playing Metal Gear Solid 1. Ding, 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 ding.
Catch me on Sunday afternoon Googling YouTube to MP3 converter and YouTube searching town bell sound.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's going to take me to a place, that's for sure.
Anyway, yeah. So if any listeners have any comments, questions, anything, let us know. A bunch of you have our phone numbers. So feel free to text either of us or, I don't know, hit our Twitter at Podtimism or our email, Gmail at Podtimism.
Oh.
Or no, for fuck's sake, Podtimism at Gmail. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we're doing next week. So wanted to get that out early, so that nobody misses that that's happening, because we've nestled it in the previous few episodes. Here and there, we've talked about it, but this one, first minute. That's above the fold, my friend.
That is a headline, is what you're saying.
I don't think I mentioned this, but my name is Chase.
And my name is David, and we will both be talking about Metal Gear Solid 1 next week. I'm
so excited.
It was good. Spoiler alert. It was good.
The video game Metal Gear Solid 1 is a good video game.
Still good. What, 98 is when it was made?
I believe so, yeah.
We're coming on 25 years of Metal Gear Solid 1?
Yeah. Listen, I'm not gonna belabor this, but parts of it feel that old, but parts of it really, really don't.
I agree. Save it for the cast, Chase. Save it for the cast.
Yeah. Anywho, this week, hello. Have you been playing video games, David?
I have been.
Could you tell me about this?
For this past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
These interludes.
Again, the 2 week schedule really throws me for a loop. You have flown to my city. I have witnessed your face
in person
since we last recorded. It's been so long. We embraced.
Yeah.
Told each other what we mean to one another. And listen, I'm saying this like a joke. That's earnest. What I just said.
Yeah. We planned a bachelor party together.
That is true. I was taking a nap and David was sending me links to bachelor party locations.
That's what you get. That's what you get when you order the DB Spesh. into your wedding party. That's what you get, baby.
Yeah.
You get all access. You get 24/7 concierge service, baby. I got you.
Can't disagree with you. Video games.
Anyways, yes, that's
Which ones have you been
talking about? Let's see. I'm still playing Ghost of Tsushima. It's now kind of I just kind of want to wander game where I just get to see pretty visuals and do a couple sword fights and then jump out. The middle part still isn't grabbing me intensely, so I'm just kind of letting things flow organically and slowly. And then I'm sure it'll pick up again because you say it's pretty good at the end. So I'm just waiting for that, but still good game.
Yep.
I played some Hades on the plane over to you.
Of course.
Spoiler, it's still good.
Still incredible.
Still good. Yeah. I don't need to say any more about that game. It's good. Played some Halo with the Stank Squad, Aaron and Drew the other day for Hale's birthday. Halo was going to be there, but other things happened that night for him.
So you were playing in his honor.
We played in the honor of Hale. His banners rallied to him and played in his name, and we played pretty well. If I do say so myself. It was good. It was a good time.
It was like blessing. You had like a passive ability.
Yeah.
He had cast on you.
Plus 5% accuracy to all shots. Blessing of Hail.
That's pretty good.
Pretty solid. It's pretty solid. 5% could be a lot. Also, shout out to Zaddy Garen for gifting me the Battle Pass.
Ooh, wow.
He just Venmoed me $9. At the $10, I think, for the Battle Pass. And he's like, get the Battle Pass. It makes the game so much more fun. And he ain't wrong. Wow. Apparently he's done it for a lot of our Stank Squad. He's just like, let me Venmo you. Just do it.
That's so
just
funny.
like, all right. So Garen gets the
Zaddy shout out of the week.
Garen, where's my $10, man? I have the Battle Pass. I don't care.
You were too into it. Garen's
Where's
doing this
my
for people on the
ones?
fence.
Oh yeah.
He's doing people on the fence.
He's giving you a free hit so that you'll stay in Halo.
Garen knows business. Garen knows business is what that comes down to. So yeah, great. Battle Pass is fun. And it's a free game. So like buy the Battle Pass, pay them for their hard work. They deserve it. They made something really great, I think.
They made a good video game.
Which brings me to some of the new things I've been playing. So
Talk to me, baby.
We're back into It Takes Two. We're back in.
You and Mallory were playing this one, right?
Yeah, we play it on and off.
And for people who haven't played it, what is It Takes Two?
It Takes Two is a solely co-op video game experience.
Yeah.
So it is a co-op story-driven game. So you have to play with one other person. I think you can play online. You can play online or in person.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you just progress through this game together as these two parents, this couple, who have been turned into like clay dolls.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to go through your home and your backyard as these miniature creatures, kind of like Honey, I Shrunk Your Kids style, and solve puzzles. And each level has a different theme. So there's like the backyard theme with the squirrels who are trying to fuck you up, or like the little kid's castle world where you have to go and find her toy elephant, all the while on the backdrop of this couple is having a very hard time and they're filing for a divorce and their child is very sad because of that.
Divorce babes.
Yeah, and I think the child's sadness is what turned them into dolls in the first place. So there's like this whole entire overarching thing of like, are they going to get back together? What are they going to do? A tale of love and reconciliation potentially. All with, a child's life at play as well. I mean, at least social life and emotional life, not physical life.
Sure.
Of course, the child is not going to die, just so people know. But really fun. Really forces you to rely on your partner. And we've gotten better at it each time we have played, which is fun. So now I feel like we've finally got into a groove. Like we played like a couple nights in a row because we're just like, yeah, we can do this. We can do this now. But yeah, it's just a really imaginative, fun game. I'm starting to see some of the things that maybe you were talking about previously about how some people said they didn't like the message of the game, potentially. Because it's like a spoiler alert for this game right now, but the Book of Love, which is like this anthropomorphic book that is kind of guiding you through this, is saying that the only way to get back to normal is to have like our child spill tears on us. Right. Which for some reason, the parents have only interpreted as make her cry, like out of sadness. So they're like, let's go break her favorite toy. That sounds like a great idea to get back to normal. As opposed to like, there's other ways you can make people cry besides just destroying something that they love. So it's like, you are the adults in this situation. Why don't you realize this? Seems pretty. As also an adult who deals with children, my girlfriend's nieces, quite often. It's like there's this is not the first conclusion I would jump to personally. So yeah, it's interesting, but it's still fun. It's very imaginative, interesting game, very unique experience. So I'm still enjoying it. Also, they let me ride a toy train, which I never realized was probably one of like my childhood dreams, was to ride around one of those miniature toy trains that like goes across the top of like toy stores.
Oh shit, you're right.
I loved those things as a kid. I would just watch them. I wouldn't even look at the toys in the store. I would just watch the train. I'd just like follow it around the store, and that's it.
There was some mystery and some majesty to those trains in Toys R Us.
There really was.
You've transported me, David. I forgot about that entirely.
You had this experience too, right?
Yeah, because like it wouldn't always be obvious where it was, and it sort of weaved in and out of the store in places that.
And sometimes there was like a bridge. Sometimes it would like go across a corner as opposed to hugging the sides. That was big always when that happened. Oh my gosh.
Wasn't there a Rugrats episode where they like rode one of those? This is when Reptar fought the like big ape or whatever.
You were bringing a lot of memories back to me all at once, and I cannot sort through them fast enough to give you an answer.
What was Reptar's line? He said something.
Reptar spoke?
Halt, I am Reptar.
It was halt.
Halt, I am Reptar.
Oh, Jesus.
I told you it was in there.
Yeah, it was in there. Holy shit. Okay, sorry, I completely derailed you.
No, I can't stop hearing this on repeat in my head right now.
They said it like 100 times in that episode.
They did. It was like over and over. It was like on repeat. Halt, I am Reptar. Halt,
yeah.
I am Reptar. Oh my god, dude. Wow.
Okay.
Anyways, they also let you blow the whistle on the toy train when you're going around. It was pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Cool. So yeah, good game.
Good game.
I also played Planet Coaster.
Planet Coaster. Oh, okay. I have also played Planet Coaster before. I don't think I've ever talked about it with you.
It's free on PlayStation Plus.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's free on PlayStation Plus. So give it a deload if you want.
Oh, no. That is not a word I am comfortable shortening in the slightest. Oh no. Listen, I know we get fast and loose and we kind of jazz it up with the words that we say, but I cannot stand for deload. I apologize.
That's fair. I tried to get away with that one, but you're beating me
a shock
back into
to my system.
Back into conformity, which I appreciate on that one. It's probably the best call.
I'll give Planet Coaster a clean download. Oh, I was bracing. Planet Coaster is Roller Coaster Tycoon for the modern era. Am I correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is.
Great.
Planet Coaster is the new Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yep.
Designed for consoles. So it's much more intuitive than the Switch version of Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, which I am very grateful for.
Yeah.
Very grateful for. I'm going through the tutorial right now, but I am a little scared because these are the type of games that bring out my deep, dark tendencies.
Yeah, you have a ding boy hidden inside you.
Yes, with these type of games, I sometimes go off the rails.
Yeah.
So I have to be very judicious about when I play this game because it cannot be
off the rails.
Off the rails.
Wow.
Pun intended.
Fully intended. Yeah.
Fully intended, in retrospect at least. But I really like the game.
Yeah.
I love the art style. I love how joyous it feels.
It's very bright. Yeah.
Very, very bright. Very kind of like everything is very rounded. No sharp edges. I love the detail that they put into the meeple in the game, like the little. Yeah. The guests, I guess you would call them. And I love all the little intricacies that they allow for and how much you can zoom in and see and experience your park as like first person essentially, which is awesome. So yeah, I haven't gotten too far into it because I am somewhat concerned about my dark tendencies to play until like 2 a.m. if I get sucked into one of these games.
Yeah.
So this is a weekend only game. Banished to weekends where I don't have to wake up in the morning. I've also been playing Unpacking.
Oh, awesome.
Played and beat with Mallory Rose.
Yeah, it's a very beatable video game.
Yeah, it's a very fun game to share as well.
Yeah, no, totally.
Straightforward, easy, point and click. And we just like switched between rooms. So yeah, and then very fun game. I like the story. Very simple, very short, sweet, to the point. But no matter what, I always dislike putting away clothes.
Yeah.
I still that part was like, everything else was like cool. Like, oh yeah, look at all these video games. Like, oh yeah, look at all the new places she's been to and like the souvenirs she's gotten from like Paris and France France, whatever, Africa and like all these other places. But then when I have to unpack like a bunch of like dresses and pants and shoes, and then the hangers, so many hangers on that last level, and I have to hang things. I'm like, this is starting to feel like chores. But everything else with the game, fantastic.
Yeah,
I think it's just I am a broken, I hate folding and putting away clothes kind of person in that way. I think that's a me issue, not the game issue.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this a real life thing? Do you hate folding clothes in real life?
With a passion. I will wash them That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's the putting them away part that's just...
It's challenging.
It becomes a whole day thing. It becomes a whole day thing. And no one's perfect, right?
I liked Unpacking, obviously. It was high on my game of the year last year. I agree that the close definitely can get a little bit tedious. For whatever reason, I never really got caught in the tedium of it. I think I was just like so antsy to see the next level that oftentimes I would kind of just like haphazardly throw shit kind of wherever they would let me.
Yeah.
In the beginning, like you were saying, it was like in the beginning of any level, it was, let me just see like what this like level is about, like where this person is at in their life. And then by the end of it, I'm just hurling clothes in the closet. Like, I'm like, I got to see what's next.
Just put them away. Yeah. No, whenever I got to a closet, I just gave it to Mallory. I'm just like, I got this, baby. Don't worry.
Nice. You've got a great gaming partner.
I know, right? It was awesome.
Her natural gamer instinct came out.
Oh, it was out and about for sure.
Yeah, I agree that I can see it getting tedious. I'm glad that the game is as long as it is. Like, it didn't really overstay its welcome because it really wasn't there for all that long to begin with.
Yeah. And
so like those parts of it didn't really wear on me just because I was so interested in what was going on in the story that I sort of was like, yeah, whatever. I think I also played it in 2 sittings, which hearing from people who have played it in 1, that might be the move. Like,
yeah.
I
One
feel
sitting
like
seems ambitious.
It's a lot. Like it's not a very long game, but like that's a good handful of hours that you're putting into
4 hours? 5 hours?
I'd say
maybe?
so. Yeah. So probably 5. And like, I think after 2.5, I was like, great. Okay. I'm going to come back tomorrow and do this. And like, wasn't tired of putting away clothes by that point.
Same, yeah. I feel like if it went into the future, like if it went to like 2050, I've been like, I gotta put away this like space hat again. I'm just gonna lose it. But yeah, it was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. Short, sweet. It's awesome that you can tell a story this way.
Yeah, I think that was what pulled me along the hardest. Was I was just shocked that like they're doing this. They're really like giving me story beats through this very like, I don't want to say simple video game, but like when you describe the mechanics, it's not crazy, right? Like you take things out of a box and you put them in a room. And so I think I was just impressed that they were able to tell a story with that pitch. And so the whole time I was just like, hell yeah, I love this. It's very good.
Only something you could do with video games.
Yeah. And like you could tell a story like this in a book or a movie, but like I think it is served very well by video games by forcing you to be the thing that is interacting with all these like objects
and forcing you to be the one who chooses where they go.
Yeah. There's agency there in a way that I think at first it doesn't mean a lot. You're kind of just tossing stuff on shelves, but at a certain point becomes very important.
Yeah, no, it's like I had this experience when you moved in with the guy.
Yeah.
There was nowhere to put my diploma, and there was nowhere in the bathroom to put my feminine hygiene products.
Yeah.
Without them being just out and about. I'm like, this guy sucks. Fuck this guy.
I thought that level was so effective. A lot of them are really effective, but I think that one was the first time I was like, oh, they're saying something here.
Yeah.
Like it's not just unpack your stuff.
Awesome.
It's like there has been no room made for you as the character. The thing that you have clearly worked hard at, your diploma, is very intentionally not given enough space to exist in this space.
There's nowhere you can put it. Literally, there's nowhere.
No. And so like I was like so impressed at that moment of like, okay, y'all have got me. Like,
yeah, it forced me to put my diploma underneath the bed. I'm just like,
that's what I had to do as well.
R.I.P. Bozo.
Yeah,
that's all I was thinking. Get this guy out of my life.
And then sort of the 1-2 punch of like that, the following level coming so quickly after was like, oh yeah, y'all have got me. I pretty much like from then on out was like, I have to finish this game. I have to see where this goes.
I was like, hey, I'm in. Yeah. That was awesome. I love that bit.
Yeah, it's a good game.
What else have I been playing? Let's see. I've also been playing, started this last night, Death's Door.
Death's Door, awesome. Another one of my GOTY games from last year.
This is also a dangerous game. I could see myself playing this for several hours without even realizing it.
It definitely does that, yeah.
It just pulled me in immediately. It's pretty great. It's this weird kind of combination of like Hades and Hollow Knight. Yeah. Which is saying something very lofty, but like that's definitely kind of how the gameplay feels.
Yeah.
And also with like a little bit of Zelda, the recent Zelda game, the tilt shift one mixed in.
Yeah, it's definitely got that visual style to it.
Yeah. Like not total tilt shift, but like very kind of rounded almost like very solid looking objects in the world that you interact with.
Yeah.
And just the combat and the movement feels great. Yeah. I'm really excited to play this game more. Don't have too much to say about it yet, though. I'm sure I will have more to say in the future.
Stoked for you to play it because I definitely liked that game a lot. And it's another one that's not super long. Like you can feasibly beat it fairly, not like, I wouldn't say nearly as quickly as Unpacking, but like it's not a long game. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if it sticks with you.
Oh, I think I will. I'm gonna be playing this game quite a bit.
Nice.
Last one.
Yeah.
Shovel Knight: Plague of Shadows.
Oh, whoa. Okay, hold on.
That's the one with the Plague Knight.
Yeah, the Plague Knight. Awesome. Well, how are you playing this? Where are you playing this?
My Nintendo 3DS.
Whoa, David. Okay, yeah, you had texted me the other day. You're like, hey, I randomly have $25 in my
on the Nintendo 3DS shop, which I have until March of next year to use before the shop gets turned off completely. So I have time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I busted it out because I was watching XPlay's YouTube channel, and apparently I think the completionist, the YouTuber, he was a host on the new XPlay.
Yeah, Gerard.
Yeah. He's apparently like, I'm guessing, good friends with the people at Yacht Club Games. So they
that's cool.
went on and showed their new game that they're developing, which looks awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Mina the Hollower. And I was just like, man, I should bust out Hollow Knight. I never finished it. At least the DLCs, because I did the Spectre of Torment one, which was awesome. I started playing Plague of Shadows, but got kind of out of it for a bit. And then they released the King of Cards, I think, recently.
Yes, they did.
So I was just like, oh, I better just like go and get the download at the very least for that one.
Yeah.
And then just got back into Plague of Shadows, and it's a real good game. My God.
I know. It's so shocking.
So good. I didn't realize that the person who did the music for Mega Man on the NES and the SNES also did the music for Shovel Knight.
That checks out, honestly.
Which is why it is so fucking rad.
So good. They're all earworms. Like they really get into your brain sometimes.
The music is so
cool.
unbelievably good in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, astoundingly good. So that all checked out to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I didn't appreciate Plague of Shadows when I first was playing through it because it was so different and slower paced than Shovel Knight and Spectre of Torment were, which were very like free flowing, very great movement abilities, whereas this one specifically kind of like neuters that part of the game and brings it back. So you have to really kind of think more strategically about your bombs. Like, am I doing a lobber? Am I doing a straight shot? Am I doing like a sentry, which will target people in like in a certain radius? Yeah, it's a very different way of playing the game, which I didn't appreciate fully at first. But now that I'm going back, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I see how this is fun. So yeah, I'm just working through it just slowly. And I would also just like to say that the 3DS, man, that's a great system.
It's a great system. I, for whatever reason, sometimes kind of count out the DS and 3DS like consoles. I don't know why, but like there's so much good shit on there. And they're also just like incredible platforms for a lot of games. Like you were talking to me about the like Zelda games that they put out, the Ocarina of Time and Majora's, and I forgot how good those ones are too. Like they're very
the
good
remakes of those two,
and like those ones are also quite good. So yeah, it's a good little system.
And the people at Yacht Club Games just know how to make games.
It's
like
shocking.
Everything just feels right. Everything feels right.
They've really got like game feel in there, which is it's intangible and hard to explain, but they've got the special sauce that just like you put it on anything. It's like, damn, man, that's good.
Like I just know how far I'm going to jump, whether or not I can make a jump wherever I am, how to move this control stick to make it so I land perfectly on a very small platform. And they allow for all of that to be both difficult and skill-based, but not feel frustrating or unfair, which is a very hard balance to strike, I think. So yeah, they're just great, and I'm really looking forward to their new game. And Shovel Knight Treasure Trove is awesome. If you've never played Shovel Knight, give it a shot. It's a great game.
Yeah, it's a good game. All of those expansions are like, they're all good, and I was shocked every time that I played it that I'm like, this is like a whole other game. Like I'm surprised that they marketed it as like DLC or expansions or anything like that, because I'm like, I get that the display layer of this game is pretty similar, but like they control so differently.
They do, yeah.
That it feels like a very different game than any of the other ones that are out.
And it makes me want Silk Song so bad.
I know. Good God, man. Every day I pray for this, and every day it's still not here. I'm sort of mixed on the game even coming out. I feel like I try not to buy into hype for video games. Like, I think it only leads to disappointment, and so I'm like, I'll play it when I get it. Like, perfect example right now, Elden Ring. haven't really watched a lot of trailers.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. I know I will play it.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to. So like we'll see. I don't need to know that like people think it's going to be the greatest game of all time. I don't know if that's a thing. But like I've definitely bought into, or at some point had bought into the hype for Silk Song, and like I don't have the video game. I can't verify if it's good or not. And so like my brain is just like constantly wrestling with itself of like, hey, we should go play Silk Song. Like, well no.
Just kidding.
Can't do that, but I would very much like to. And I think it's going to be good, but God, I don't know. Are those the only games you're playing, David?
Yeah, sorry, that's it.
That's fine. Can I tell you about the games that I'm playing?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I've been playing some video games.
Mm-hmm.
I am still playing Pokemon Arceus.
Fun game.
It's a fun game.
I played it with you a little bit.
Yes, yeah. You played it with me. You helped me name Sir Hugs a lot, which is one of my
Wawa Wheezy
and Wawa Wheezy. They've stayed in my party. Big like Buzz.
Big like Buzz
was my Graveler. The puppy that I've recently introduced into our home, Snacks. Her dad's name was Buzz, and Buzz was big.
Buzz was buff. He was the buffest pug I ever seen in my life.
He's been doing some pug push-ups for sure.
Yeah.
So we were saying that Snacks is going to get big like Buzz. And so my Graveler, a natural extension of said joke. Let's see. Pokemon Arceus. I think I'm almost done with it. Like I'm almost at the end of the story. I suspect I will continue playing it after the like quote unquote story is done. Because definitely the thing that I am returning to this game for over and over again is just plopping myself into an area and going and catching Pokemon. Like it is, I'm always so compelled to do that when I fire this game up, which I think is like such a success for this game. Like I was trying to think about my experience with playing the other Pokemon games, and I think I can get lost in those games pretty easily, not physically, but just like, what am I doing right now? Like what is my current objective, and how does that support like this whole game? Trying to go, I need to go talk to the old man by the sea so he can give me a boat ride to this other gym. Like
right.
It's very specific,
but
and
I
like,
have to give him a ticket, and I get that ticket by trading 5 shells to this person over here.
Yeah, it can feel kind of archaic in a way that I don't always love. It can feel a little Arceus, the god, in a way that I don't always love. And so I have been really stoked that the game, like the core part of Arceus is, sorry, I'm just going to be bouncing back and forth on which way I pronounce it, but that's where we're at. I am glad that the game's core mechanic is just catching pokes, and that like that is a thing that is rewarded pretty heavily and like encouraged of like, yes, you should do this. And so like it's so easy to get lost in this really satisfying loop of like, I'm going to go out there and just look for either Pokemon that I haven't finished in my Pokedex or some that I haven't seen before, or go to a place that I haven't been before. And that's really compelling. Like I think I mentioned this last week that like the story isn't doing a lot for me.
Yeah.
And like, again, I don't usually come to Pokemon for story content.
Yeah.
But this one is definitely like, I'm kind of just skipping through the dialogue for the most point or for the most part. And so like it's fine. So I'm glad that is the part that they focused on, the sort of like design of keeping the player interested in the core thing. And at a certain point, like I'm sort of like making, it's the emergent game design sort of conversation where I'm making a lot of story in my head of like, I caught this Pokemon and then I got chased around by this big alpha Alakazam or something like that. And then I went over here and I caught this guy. And so like that sort of stuff is really compelling and really easy to enjoy in a way that I, wasn't necessarily expecting from a Pokemon game. And so, yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I think that this game could be a very good base for where the Pokemon series goes. Like I think they've landed on something that works really well for them. And I think like like I said last week, there is battling in this game, but that is not necessarily the focus all the time. And I think that is such a good decision. Yeah. Because like unless you're at the competitive level, I don't know that battling is the most interesting thing about Pokemon. Yeah. It's fun. Agreed. And like it is something that is interesting, but not the most interesting. I think it is so much more fun to just like exist in this world that is bright and fun and happy and see all the like discoveries that you can make in this place. Like I think that stuff is so good. And so like it's a good video game. I'm really enjoying it. I think I mentioned this last week, but like it's imperfect. There are parts of it that are not amazing. I see what people are talking about when they're saying it doesn't look incredible. There are parts that I'm like, that looks pretty janky for a game that came out this year.
Yeah.
But I'm hard pressed to say that stuff really sticks with me in any major way. I think graphics in any game, unless they are shockingly good or shockingly awful in a way that gets in the way of me playing the game, I don't really notice it. I think the last game that I really noticed graphics was Final Fantasy Remake, where I was like, damn, the faces in this game look really good. Like Cloud looks like a real ass person.
Yeah, damn.
But like other than that, like I usually just, it kind of fades into the background after a certain point. And so like, it just doesn't really bother me all that much. So anyway, I'm probably going to keep playing this. I will almost certainly finish it. Yeah, good game. I like Pokemon Arceus. I am also playing GetsuFumaDen Undying Moon.
What is this?
So this is a game that was shown at the most recent Nintendo Direct. And it is this game by, I think it's called Guru Games.
Okay.
I had a hard time finding literally any information out about them.
Whoa.
I was poking around the internet. A very mysterious developer. So far as I can tell, this is like either their first game as Guru Games or the first one that they have talked about online. But it is this game that is a side-scrolling level and weapon-based roguelike.
Okay.
I think the most distinctive part of it is its art style. Which is this, I think it's pronounced ukiyo-e style. It's this like Japanese art style that you have almost certainly seen before. It is, I think like the most famous one is the Hakutsai's The Great Wave off Kanagawa, the wave painting. You know the one?
Yeah.
And so the game's taking after that style pretty specifically, and a lot of the imagery around like demons and shit like that.
Ooh.
Which is, it's cool. It's a really great style. And so like when I saw the commercial for it or on the Nintendo Direct, I was like, hey, that looks pretty good. I'm interested in what this is. So I checked it out. Mechanically, it is very similar to Dead Cells, I think is like the closest approximate to what is actually going on in this game. Essentially, like you will start a run, you'll walk through this level that eventually leads to some kind of boss that you kind of have to like find. It's not always in the same spot. And so you have to like dig through the level a little bit. All the while you are finding different weapons that have kind of different play styles. They all have, you know, kind of random attributes where, you know, in this run, you find a spear that does X amount of damage or Y amount of damage. And that is different from run to run. It's very inconsistent isn't the right word,
random?
But it is, it's random for the most part.
Yeah.
And very similar to Dead Cells, you can hold 2 weapons at a time, and you have like a couple of ranged weapons you can hold on to. And I guess loop of the game is that you go out, fight some people, you get some meta game currency that you can upgrade your person with, which makes each run a little bit easier. And you fight bosses, and I'm assuming that there is a end of this game. So yeah, I think I'm trying to be optimistic about this game.
Is it a little hard?
It is. So yes, it is challenging to be Podtimists. It's not a bad game, I would say. I think it's going after Dead Cells so specifically.
Sure.
That we've talked about this before, where games are so similar to another that it's hard not to compare them.
Yeah.
And this is definitely one of those where I'm like, you know, it doesn't perform quite as well as Dead Cells does. It can be a little bit sluggish and like slow in a way. And I think some of that is intentional, right? Like it is intended to feel, I think, a little bit slower than Dead Cells is. Like your dodge roll is kind of slow. Yeah. Which is fine, right? I don't have a problem with that. But I think when there is a lot of shit going on screen and like it's kind of hard to like track and see what's happening. And like, am I rolling? I'm not exactly sure what's going on.
You get lost in the visual effects.
Yeah, which is a bummer because it is really pretty. I think the thing that it is doing very uniquely to itself is the art style. I think it looks incredible and is a really fun exploration of that art style. Like oftentimes in the background, you can see what looks like a painting essentially that has some amount of like parallax on it. So the background is kind of moving around while you're back there. Yeah. And that looks great. Like that part of it is like super impressive and super cool and, you know, is a very neat exploration of this art style that in itself is neat. So I like that part of it a lot. But I think like my desire to play it isn't always there. Like I'm like, I'll do a couple of runs, but in comparison to Dead Cells where I was like, I have to play a lot of this game. Yeah. Or something like similarly kind of like Rogue Legacy, which is in the same realm of video game. And so like I want to give this game credit for what it's doing because it is like a pretty good execution of a formula that is tested and true.
Yeah.
But it's also imperfect.
Gotcha.
And so like I like it and I'm playing it, but I'm not like, oh my God, this game is the best thing ever. Like
you're not losing your mind over it.
Not really. And so like I want to be positive about that and, you know, sing its praises. But like, you know, if somebody's listening to this and I'm like, I wonder if I should pick that up. Unless you're crazy about this genre, like Dead Cells is still a very good game. They're still putting DLC out for that one.
Yeah.
But again, like go look at it. It looks incredible. So like if that is enticing, there's a lot of that in the games. The boss design is also so much fun and so cool. Stuff that is definitely paying homage to the art style and the big art pieces of that like genre of Japanese art. So like it's good. It's interesting.
There's a big wave come and get you.
Big.
That big Japanese art style wave coming for you.
It is the Great Wave off Kanagawa.
Is that the name of the painting? Mm-hmm. It's a cool painting. I love it.
I have also been playing the demo for Project Triangle Strategy, David.
Whoa. That is the worst name. I'm sorry.
Listen, it's not a great name.
Like, that tells me nothing.
Yeah.
Like, is it rock, paper, scissors? Is that what it's saying?
Not exactly. I get strategy. I get what they're doing there. Done with that one. But the rest of it, I'm like, I don't know. There is a like kind of morality and decision system that I think is what they're referencing when they're saying triangle. But like, damn, it could have been so, I don't know. Like, there are better names out there. And I get it. Our podcast is named Video Game Podtimism. I get it, but like,
yeah, you know, stones, glass houses, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want to say, but still. So I've been playing Project Triangle Strategy, which I think at this point may just be Project Triangle Strategy. It is no longer a project.
Oh, okay. That's, I guess, a little bit better.
A little bit.
It seems less industrial at that point.
Just name it Triangle, man.
Then that's just mysterious. That's
evocative. Yeah, I love that. So I've been playing this video game. It is I think I've heard people call it a strategy RPG.
So is it like an Advanced Wars or like Fire Emblem or something like that?
So partially. I think the most obvious comparison is Final Fantasy Tactics.
Sure.
Because it is you're controlling specific people and geography plays a big role in the fights.
Okay.
In such that like in Fire Emblem, it is top down and you're on sort of like this grid system. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Final Fantasy Tactics and Triangle Strategy, there is height differences a lot of the time, and so like you kind of have to use that to your advantage. Of if you're attacking from higher up, that gives you important advantages. If you are sort of like surrounding someone, that gives you a certain amount of advantages. And so like you are playing with the geography of the level a lot more than you are, I think, in like a Fire Emblem or, you know, an XCOM or something like that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So yeah, I have not been able to get into Final Fantasy Tactics before.
I have tried Crystal Chronicles on the GBA.
Not even. I know, and
I
it's
smashed that one. That was fun.
I know, and like it's such a blind spot for me because I know so many people just like adore those games, and just for whatever reason, I could never really break into it. Mm-hmm. The same thing. I recently tried. I think it's called Fae Tactics, which was like a Game Pass game. Very similar vibe to Final Fantasy Tactics, and like I just couldn't quite do it.
Sure,
didn't really keep me there, and I'm not. It's hard for me to pinpoint why. I think just the battle mechanics were always a little bit challenging to grasp for me.
Okay.
However, I'm really enjoying this one. Just I think it is taking after those games in a certain way, but it has made changes that I am enjoying. I think it does start you pretty slow with the battle and like gives you a chance to probably fuck up a couple of turns and be like, it's fine. I think it relies a little bit more on like something that is closer to Fire Emblem as far as the battle goes, that I was able to grok a lot easier than Final Fantasy Tactics. And yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Again, it's like a demo. It's quite long. I haven't beaten the demo.
Wow.
I think it gives you like 3 full battles worth of game.
Oh, wow.
And I've gotten through 2 of them and it's been like hours of content. So
dang.
It's they're very generous with the amount of game that they're giving you.
Cool.
But it's good so far. Like I think on the face of it, the art style is really fun. It's like that sort of Octopath Traveler 2.5D style thing where they are like 2D pixel sprites rendered on a 3D space. And so like it looks pretty cool. And there's also tilt shift on it. So it looks interesting. I'm glad that they're like running with that style because it's cool. And I like didn't love Octopath Traveler, so I'm glad that something else is getting its kind of time in the sun.
Sure.
The battle stuff is good. It, like I said, starts you slow, so I'm able to sort of like understand what the game is trying to tell me to do. I also like weirdly enjoy the story a lot. It's pretty good so far.
Okay.
It really reminds me of Fire Emblem, and it's like 3 kingdoms are currently fighting against each other and blah, blah, blah. There's a truce recently, but maybe things are not so good.
And blah, blah, blah.
That's in the text of the video.
That is the actual voiceover.
But it is understandable in a way that is fun while still feeling like there are some details to chew on.
Sure.
And it introduces you to those details slowly but surely rather than doing just like an explosive lore dump in the very beginning of the game.
Baby. That gets me going.
which I know you enjoy, but I need to be able to chew on it just a little bit at a time.
I want my steak as the appetizer, please.
I need to be able to like sit and steep in the lore for a little while before they're like, okay, I got to tell you about each one of the houses in each one of these kingdoms.
So you want a nice like tea for your appetizer.
I would like a tea. Yeah, I need tell me the name of the world and the 3 kingdoms, and then introduce me to a couple of characters.
It's a little stronger each time you take a sip.
Yeah. In the second level, introduce me to the mine that everybody is suddenly very obsessed with and is supposedly going to be cause peace across the land.
The mine?
There's a mine that was discovered recently. A mine. And it's maybe going to cause some issues.
They dug too deep and too greedily.
Greedily. Yeah, absolutely.
It's coming for you.
But yeah, it's enjoyable so far. The voice acting is very weird and wacky, and like I've heard that turning into Japanese makes it a little bit more enjoyable because it is bizarre hearing like clear as day voices come out of like 2.5D pixel characters.
Sure.
Which it's not a complaint. That's just like a thing that I've noticed. So I'm like, this is a little weird, but
it doesn't match up.
It's a little bit
uncanny valley almost.
It's a little uncanny valley, a little dissonant, but not in a way that like is really all that distracting. Yeah, it's good. I sort of want to hold off judgment until it's like fully out, but like the demo's worth a look at the very least. It's free. Who can be fucking free 99?
That was my free voice for some reason.
Yeah, it's okay. I got it.
Just a little cackle.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep playing this game. It's enjoyable, like the characters.
Nice.
It's good so far. It's good so far. The final game that I've been playing. It's called Riftbreaker, David.
That's the mech game.
This is the mech game, David.
It's on Game Pass, right?
Is it on Game Pass? I think it is on Game Pass.
I've been peeping at this one every now and then.
Yes, I was recommended this game from one of our listeners, Pickle.
Pickle. Shout out Pickle.
Shout out Pickle, who clocked me from orbit that I would like this video game.
Was the Hammer of Dawn just sent that down at you?
Yeah, no, from satellite view was like, hey, I think you might like this game. And me standing on
Chase
planet Earth
up
was
and
like,
just
what?
got destroyed by a laser.
I do like this game.
Nice.
Okay, so what is this game? It is I think it's described itself as a base building survival game. It's like this top-down 3D game where you control just like one mech, and you are trying to survive on a hostile planet. The way that you do that is by gathering some resources, setting up a base, setting up some automated defenses, and then attempting to sort of like expand and protect your base, all the while discovering new tech and all that sort of stuff. Initially, I thought this was going to be another one of the like automation games that I'm discovering in the last year or so. Thought it was going to be a little bit like Satisfactory or something like that. And it does share some DNA with Factorio. I played this kind of late last year, but it is definitely a different thing than that. It reminds me a little bit of like a tower defense game in that like you are fairly consistently being like waves of what are essentially Zerg from StarCraft.
Okay.
Waves of dudes just kind of thrown against your base. And so like there isn't a lot of consistency in when that happens. It's just like, hey, we're under attack. You gotta protect. And so like that part of it is kind of tower defense-y. It does remind me of StarCraft in a certain sense of like if you're playing as like a Terran or the Protoss and like you're up against a lot of Zerg, that's definitely familiar. But I think the difference being that you're controlling one character rather than like just controlling the like base itself. And so yeah, it again, you do have to do things like in Factorio where you have to like harvest resources and build buildings that will harvest resources, but that's also kind of like a StarCraft, Warcraft thing, or really any of those like strategy games. And it's really enjoyable. Honestly, like I was cautiously optimistic because it looked really good. Like I was like, yeah, it's like a visually very pretty game, and like The marketing seemed pretty good, but I was like, I don't know if this is really going to hook me in the same way because it doesn't have the like automation part of it. But I think that the things that it like takes care of for you really do help. Like in Factoria and Satisfactory, you have to like really ship every bit of resource from one place to another. Like you gotta build the conveyor belt that goes from one spot to another.
You gotta make the supply lines.
Yes, and like in those games it is satisfying, but sometimes if you don't want that, it is challenging. This game does a lot of stuff for you. It's just like, when you harvest it, it just goes into your storage. That's fine. It just teleports there. No problem.
Cool.
Like, okay, great. You can build like teleporters to go from different parts of your base to other ones. So like you can get around the map very quickly once you build a base.
Cool.
Also very satisfying, like just very easy to get around. And so it does simplify a certain amount of that genre that I really enjoy. It is difficult. Like the game is constantly throwing challenges at you in a way that it really doesn't give you a lot of breathing room. I think that is important in this kind of game, as long as that's not like an accessibility thing, just like forcing you to feel like you are under threat from the planet.
Sure, yeah. You gotta feel like you're fighting for your life.
Yeah, and like it shouldn't necessarily be just like a breeze to walk through here. And I think that's a really cool thing that they managed to hit. I'm just playing on like the normal difficulty, so I suspect like it could be much harder. But it is really fun to feel like, shit, I really need to like get my shit together so that I can like repel the next offensive wave of dudes, because the last one took down this wall and like my power is disconnected from my like part of the base, and so like, I need to go fix that real quick.
You have a
like
power outage. It's gonna be flashbacks.
Honestly, there is a little bit of City Skylines in there, because you have to like, you need to build buildings that will bank power, like save up power, so that when and if something goes wrong, right? Like say there's a storm and your wind turbines aren't working very well, or your solar panels don't have enough sun. You need enough like storage of energy to be able to like survive whatever that like time is.
Whoa.
And I feel like this is such a hard balance to hit, because in so many other games that loop can feel oppressive, like challenging. I think in Frostpunk it is used in a good way, where like the game feels like it is just relentless in how challenging the world is.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one you kind of feel empowered to like, I can do this. Like I'm this big cool mech that can like go and fight people, and like you can engage in like actual combat, which is a little bit different than Factoria. Factoria, you have like a gun, and like that's fine, but like this one has like a skill tree for like a cool new sword that you can put on your mech, which is like stronger than the rest of them.
Oh my god, I love a good mech sword.
It's cool as hell.
Oh my gosh. Gives me Mobile Suit Gundam vibes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like not the thin sword like Mobile Suit Gundam. It's just like a big blade that you put on your mech, which is very cool.
No, that was my shit. That was my shit. Gundam Wing. The red Gundam with the little blade that comes out of his forearm.
Yeah, no, very cool.
So good. Anyways, sorry, I'm distracting you from what you're saying.
No, we're having a little mech off right now. It's all good. So yeah, I'm like really enjoying this. I think the loop is really good. I played the tutorial and was like, okay, I hope the game is a little bit bigger than that, because it just sort of gives you a bunch of technology at the beginning. And I was like, I wonder if it's going to be like any larger than that. It is quite a bit larger than that.
Sure.
There is a significant amount of tech that you can discover and like plan. And that stuff is all really good. And I think the game loop essentially breaks down into this really satisfying playthrough, where essentially you will, and this, hits from the very first time you start the game, you need to gather a new resource. So when you land, it's just like the base normal resource. You automate the harvesting of that resource with some kind of building.
Yeah.
You build cool new shit with that, like with a lot of the resources that you're gathering, which in turn attracts the attention of big bugs that are like, hey, fuck you. And
big bugs,
big buzz, big like bugs. And you attract attention of these bugs that will be like, hey, I don't like your big new building. I'm going to come tear it down.
Oh.
And so you have to like, set up automated defenses to help you, because while you can do some damage to a lot of these guys, it is hard to do all the damage to all of them.
Man, there's a lot going on in this game.
It sounds like it. They do a tutorial well enough that all of this feels very natural. Like it feels like you know exactly what you need to do and when you should do it. To the again, I think they just do a really good job of giving you enough time to be like, okay, I should build like walls now, or I should build like this part of the base. And then it's like, hey, an attack is coming in 2 minutes. And you're like, oh, fuck. Okay. And then you set up like,
oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
you set up like a couple of turrets. And then it's like, all right, let's see if we can hold this one off. You build some walls. They come and hit your walls for a little while. And then you're like, all right, we repelled that one. What can I do now? And so, once you eventually get enough technology investment, you will unlock a new resource to mine. And then it just sort of loops back in on itself of like, okay, now I need to go find like a gas geyser and do that thing. And that's going to attract bigger bugs. And so I need to build more cool shit. And so
more money, more problems.
Mo resources, more problems. Mo problems. It's good. I'm liking this game a lot. It takes a lot of the parts of the automation game that I've been enjoying a lot in Satisfactory and in Dyson Sphere Program, simplifies a lot of them, and then combines it with a certain amount of like kind of combat and frenetic stuff that is in StarCraft and Warcraft. And like I said, I didn't fall in love with the combat in Factorio. I was kind of always just like, can I just build a base?
Yeah.
Like in Satisfactory, they mostly just let you build the base. Whereas in Factorio, it's a little bit like more of a threat. Whereas in this one, it's like, it is a threat, but it's also fun to fight. And so like that part of it is really nice.
That is nice.
So anyway, I'm enjoying Riftbreaker. I'm definitely going to keep playing this game because of my ding boy brain. It satisfied, scratches that itch, David.
I mean, I'm curious to try this one too.
I mean, if it's on Game Pass, like it's certainly worth a try.
Yeah, most definitely.
Anyway, David, this will bring me to my Podtimistic thing of the week.
Let's hear it.
It is the resurgence of Switch sports, David.
Oh, yes, dude. Oh my God.
Sing it from the heart. That's the sound of somebody who got tennis elbow from playing Wii Sports.
I 100%
singing his heart out.
I 100% did. But yeah, no, if you can't tell, I'm also pumped for this.
Nintendo recently announced that they're putting out Switch Sports, which they put into a direct that honestly was pretty stacked. Like I was
into that direct.
There was a lot of shit in there, and I must not be the target audience for Xenoblade Chronicles because they put that was their ending thing. They just sort of slid Switch Sports in the middle of this, and I was like, you guys, this is like the best selling video game.
Big moment.
Y'all put out Wii Sports like a decade and a half ago, and that's like the video game. If someone asks you what a video game is, a lot of people are going to say Wii Sports as video game.
That's a very fair point. That's a very fair point.
I was shocked that they're just like, also, yeah, we're making another Switch Sports. It's all good. Man, I want to play this video game. This looks
into
really
it. I'm
good.
Ready. I'm so ready.
I could not believe that they're just like, yeah, we're doing another one. I hope no one remembers 1-2 Switch because we didn't put that out. We're putting out Switch Sports now.
Well, there was Wii Sports Resort as well.
There was, which was also for the Wii, right?
Yeah.
And so it's been a little while. It's been a minute. They've got all sorts of shit in there. They, I believe they have tennis, of course.
They have tennis. They have badminton. Yes.
They have volleyball.
Volleyball. They have like the sword fighting one.
Yes. Yeah.
That's it. That's all the games.
Bowling. I also saw bowling.
That's right. Bowling is a huge one.
I saw that they're adding survival bowling, which I really like.
I'm into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to fight. Like, what is that? 100 people? How many people?
I think it's a battle royale with fucking
battle royale bowling.
I love that.
That's the battle royale I'm there for. That's the chicken dinner I actually have a chance of getting. I don't have to build shit. I can just bowl.
Oh my God. So yeah, I'm really excited about this.
Poor forearm. My poor forearm.
My forearm is quaking in fear of whatever Switch Sports is about to bring to the table.
Hey, if anything happens, just call me, baby. I got you.
Yeah, it's true.
Some good stretches and exercises.
That's absolutely true.
That's what I'm here for.
So anyway, it just got me excited. I love video games, man.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
They are. They're so cool.
They're so cool.
They're like the Chris Pratt of media types.
Christ
so cool.
Alive.
So cool.
Do you have something fueling your sense of optimism, David?
I do.
What is it?
Cloud gaming, baby.
Cloud gaming. Yeah.
Cloud gaming. It feels like the future. Game Pass lets you do it for most of the games on there. I haven't seen one that I can't do it with. And I tried it for a game that we'll be talking about in a second here.
Yes.
And it worked quite well.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Quite well. Didn't have to take up any space on my hard drive. Didn't have to wait for it to download. It was just like, all right, we're just loading this bad boy up. And I was right in there playing. That was great.
Yeah.
Felt like the future. I am somewhat scared of it because it also my little commie boy on the inside is like, they're just making it so that you don't own anything.
Yeah, you don't own any video game.
You just pay for access to things. You don't own anything anymore. I'm just like, that's a little scary, but for right now, it's pretty nice.
I am also conflicted about it because it has been getting better over the years. Like, I tried the PS Now service for a game that we will probably be talking about in like 6 months. Mm-hmm. It worked pretty well, which hasn't always been the case. I think for a while, like, it was just not really an option.
What was
for
it?
me.
The Ouya? Wasn't that Google's
the
cloud gaming?
The Ouya wasn't so good. I mean, a lot of those, like, streaming platform things were not ready. Like, not everybody has a really good. Yeah, you need a very good internet connection for the most of the time for this to work right. But I agree that, like, this might be what I'm always hoping for with, like, game sustainability and, like, preservation.
Sure.
Because, like, you conceptually, if you have a streaming service for video games, you can have machines out there that you're streaming from, meaning you can feasibly maintain video games, right? Like, that you could play a PlayStation 2 game on your Xbox or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, like, that part of it is really cool, but I also agree, like, what happens when they decide to take the server down or decide to say, like, that one's not on offer anymore? Like, that sucks and is scary, and I don't own it, and, like, corporations are fueled by money, and money always doesn't point towards, like, preserving the art form. So
definitely not.
So yeah, but it is cool. It is neat.
Neat.
It's neat. I've been playing something through cloud gaming, which we'll talk about someday. But, at least 3 iterations of a video game away from now is when we'll be talking about this.
Sounds like the Matrix. Get better each time. More efficient.
So yeah. Hey, do you want to move on to our main thing, David?
Let's do it.
Cool. Hey.
Hello.
It's Good Games. It's a segment where we talk about the okayest games of yesteryear, or just some games that haven't gotten their moment in the sun, and talk about all the things that we love about them.
Yeah, we're here.
We're here. Last week, we talked about Echo the Dolphin, a water-based video game, and we were discussing what could we do this week that might be another underwater experience.
Exactly.
We settled that it is nigh on impossible to play Seaman in the year 2022. I looked at some walkthroughs, and it is a dull experience to play Seaman. So
because you can't talk to it, right?
There are ways, but I think you're going to have to get into some Hacker Man territory for that one.
I'm not a real hacker man.
Yeah, I don't think I am either. So like maybe we'll just watch some run-throughs when we decide to do our Seaman episode for the Sega Dreamcast.
There you go.
But instead, we're going to do a more recent release called I Am Fish.
I Am Fish.
Have you had you heard about this game? You told me about this one.
I had heard about it.
How?
I had seen like some reviews about it.
I had no recollection of this game.
I always just kind of keep abreast of what is coming out on Game Pass when it does.
Yeah.
And it was a new on Game Pass thing, and I watched the video for it. I'm like, hey, that looks fun. Looks interesting.
That looks different. Fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you asked about underwater games, I thought this one fit the bill.
Fish. It's a fish game. Can I hit you with some hot stats about this game?
Please.
Hot stats.
I Am Fish came out September 21st of 2021, recently.
New game.
This, as the crow flies, I think this is the most recent release that we have done at time of recording.
That's very possible.
Like the delta between when it came out and when we're covering it is short for video game podtimism. Usually we're like, ooh, this very recent game that's 10 years old. But this one's like just a couple of months. Little baby.
Little baby game.
This was made by this was made by Bossa Studios, which they've made some other games. I think the most notable of which is Surgeon Simulator. You've certainly seen some people play this game before.
Yeah, definitely.
They have also made I Am Bread. So seems like
it's a sequel of the I Am series.
Yeah, the fish turned into bread. Actually, there is a flopping bread in the beginning of this game, so I wonder if that's a reference to I Am Bread.
It is. I didn't realize that. I was like, what is going on with this bread? I was like, did the fish get baked into this bread for some reason? It was very disturbing to me at first.
I also thought the same thing, yeah. That must be what it's a reference to be honest. And they're responsible for the upcoming Pigeon Simulator. So, some games that they made.
Pigeon?
Just Pigeon Simulator for this one.
Okay.
So, this game has not been covered a lot, so I had to dig to get a review of it.
Oh, wow.
I did manage to find a review from Joe Video on their website by some dude who just reviewed it.
Oh.
This was not
Sound
a
like
Joe
random
Video.
User?
Just some person.
Oh, cool.
So this is not a full-blown Joe Video, but I think it is just as creative.
We're for the people here.
Yeah, we're for the Joe people, I think.
I
don't know what
Jeeple?
the Jeeple. I don't know what the content of the people of Joe Video is. They may be awful, but who knows?
They
We're
might
just
be.
using them for their reviews.
Yeah.
So I have taken their review of this person's review on joevideo.com. I've run it through Google Translate through as many languages as I could find, finally spitting the mangled husk back out in English for us to enjoy here. So with that, here's what this user had to say on Joe Video. Great surprise. Of course, I was talking about Ribka's savvy friend who was at the pet store and was actually divorced.
Oh.
From now on, everyone's goal is to go back to the sea and find friends. So the game allows you to add 4 fish at a time using different toys on the levels. In different and precise conditions, and then in parentheses it says 1 turn, 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 etc. in parentheses. IMF-ish influence is in design and play. Despite the beauty of the model, the game is very demanding. Sometimes we cut our ways and go towards our goals. Save 5 stars and space if you like. Any. 16 out of 20.
Any.
The previous sentence ended, period, and then any with an exclamation point.
Weird. Google Translate was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out here now.
You're just pulling from the user reviews, my man. I don't have a good
This
idea
ain't
about
even
what that's.
grammar.
I love when this user slipped into the nether realm in their parentheses and said 1 turn, etc. Love that. I really like that.
What is that? Who sings that song? Turn, turn, turn. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It was my jam back in the day. It's an old yacht rock, classic rock song.
Were you into yacht rock, David?
I mean, I was a kid because my dad listened to it.
Oh, I don't think I knew this about you.
So my dad's like, we got our my mixtape. So which one do you guys want to listen to? And I said, turn, turn, turn. And my sister said, old type of rock and roll. Anyways random aside.
Whoa. I don't think I knew this. Are you a parrot head, David? Are you
a what?
A parrot head?
Parrot head.
A parrot head is a fan of Jimmy Buffett.
Oh.
The parrot heads follow Jimmy Buffett around.
I do not think I'm a parrot head.
But do you enjoy the whimsical songs of Mr. James Buffett?
I don't think I do.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's the Birds. BYRDS.
You've got a refined palate for yacht rock. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm classy yacht rock. Not that nasty bodunk yacht rock.
Boat rock, as we call it here.
Boat rock. What are those boats in Florida? The fan boats, big fan boats. What are they called?
They call them spinny floaties, spinny floaters. They call them
spinny floaters. Oh no!
They call them hover fellas.
Hover fellas.
They call them no rudder for me here.
No rudder, no problem.
No rudder, no problem is the official government God-given name for those boats in Florida.
With the big fans, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyways,
no rudder boys.
Anyways, let's keep going.
Blowy, goey, goey. Blogo. The blogos. Come on, David.
A blogo boat. Duh.
A blogo. Ooh, a blogo boat.
Blogo boat.
Hey, if you were to give someone a great deal and offer them 2 of those boats.
A bogo, blogo boat.
A bogo, blogo boat. Thank you. If you were making a business deal and someone said, I think this deal is off on buying 2 boats for the price of 1.
It's a no-go on the BOGO for the blogo boats.
Yes, thank you. Christ alive. Finally, somebody said it.
It's because there's some bouncing sticks on those boats. So it's a no-go for the pogos for the bogo, blogo, flow. I lost it. I don't even know what we're saying anymore.
This is a bad podcast that we make sometimes.
I was trying to add pogo and I just fucked it up.
Yeah. No, we all saw where you were going.
You saw where I was going.
It's on the tape.
I was coming in for the landing and I crashed hard.
Forgot to put the landing gear down. Yeah, it's okay.
Definitely did.
Could you explain to me what the video game I Am Fish is?
I Am Fish is a game where you are fish.
Yes.
Plural. You play as 4 different fish.
Yeah.
You start off as best fish friends in a pet store, and you get fed some wiggly bread.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the pet store owner takes you all and puts you in different tanks, and you're very sad, and you each get sold to different people.
Yeah, presumably sold to different folks.
Yes. And then there's 4 different phases of the game where you play as 4 different fish, and essentially your job, your task, is to get to the ocean. And you get to the ocean by pushing the bowls that you live in, and then, crashing the bowls, getting into other bodies of water, getting picked up by going through pumps from pools and going to the sewer system. And then, getting hit by seagulls and thrown into places. And it just gets wacky and wild. And so the goal is to get each of those fish to the ocean. And each fish has different abilities as well. Yeah. So the goldfish, basic fish. Nothing special. Just learn the game.
You're Mario of fish.
You're the Mario fish. Then there's the flying fish. There's the piranha who can grab onto things. And what's the last fish do again?
The puffer fish?
Just puffs up.
Yeah, it puffs up. So
it's big.
If you break your bowl, or say you don't have a bowl, you can puff up and roll down a hill for a second.
There you go.
Until you get into another body of water.
Yeah. So they all add their little spin on the gaming formula. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Pretty simple game.
Yeah. It's pretty straightforward, as far as what your goal is and what you got to do at any given moment. Let's talk about what we liked about this.
Yeah, I liked that it felt like I was playing a Pixar short.
Pretty much, yeah. It was really high quality.
Yeah, the animation was very high quality. The voice acting was surprisingly good. In a game about fish. The animations were all very cute and peppy. Yeah. These fish had personality.
Definitely.
Each one, different personality of these fish.
It was I was not expecting it to be as earnest and heartfelt as it was.
Yeah. It's a story about friendship.
I know.
Very sweet.
There's at least a few minute cutscene in the beginning of all the fish just really going hard on this bread that they're eating. And they're all just loving it and loving being around each other.
Yeah.
And then it gets so sad when they take them away from each other.
Yeah.
Not to mention just before the first level, you're playing as Goldfish and he looks straight up depressed.
Yeah.
He's just kind of floating around. His eyes are all closed a little bit.
Some real pain in his eyes.
There's pain in that goldfish's eyes. In one of the scenes here, what happens is you're playing, or you're not even playing as Goldfish yet. You're just watching a cutscene and the tin of fish food gets put next to the bowl that your fish is currently in. And it's got just an illustration of fish on it, and they all fade and turn into the faces of your friends.
Yep.
And Goldfish is damn, I love my friends. I wish I could hang out with them. And then it gets so sad. They turn back into just the illustration. He looks down, he's like, fuck, dude, what am I going to do? What are we going to do here? Luckily enough, immediately that is followed with him being I'm breaking the fuck out of this house.
Freedom. Here we go.
Yes. Because he realizes he can roll his fishbowl. Sidebar. I don't know when the first time you died was in this game.
Quickly.
Mine was immediately. I immediately rolled off. And a critical part of this game is pressing Y to immediately restart. Because you just pop right back up to where you were before. I did not know this. What I did instead was watch my fish suffocate on the ground.
It's brutal when the fish dies.
It is brutal.
And you feel the heartbeat in the controller as well. It's boom, 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 boom.
It was so so bad. The fish's little eyes are slowly closing and the screen goes dark. I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was it was just gonna reset me, and it's you died. I was emotionally unprepared for the whiplash of seeing my 4 best friends on the fish next to me, the fish food next to me, and then immediately going and suffocating on the ground.
It's this is what happens when you try to get what you want, kids.
Did you ever see The Gray, the movie with Liam Neeson?
No, I didn't actually, where he fights the wolves.
Yeah, there's a scene in it where the one of his friends is like dying, and he just like, he goes up to him and is just like so matter of fact, like, you're dying. That's what's happening. And like walks him through death. I felt like fucking Liam Neeson in this moment where my fish is suffocating. I'm like, oh God, I need to shepherd him from this life to the next, to the great beyond.
They went too hard on that part.
They went way too hard.
The bowl crashes and I reset immediately. I don't need to see my guy just flipping and flopping with no hope for anything.
It's way too much. Couldn't handle it.
Grim Reaper just slowly creeping in.
You're like hallucinating all your fish's memories. Anyway,
from the first level, it's just like a 1 second snippet. It's just you hallucinating your friends' faces on the goldfish tin, and then that's it. That's your whole life's memory.
I have way too much existential dread for this joke. So anyway, I was much more careful after that experience.
Yeah, it makes you really like, oh, don't die.
Don't die.
I was thinking when I first died, I was thinking, wow, this fishbowl is like made out of the most strong glass ever.
Yeah.
And then just crash. I'm like, oh, maybe not. And I'm dead.
Oh no, SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Yeah, it was intense.
I agree that the production quality of it is
really good,
wildly high.
Really good.
Yeah. What else? What else did you like about this one?
The physics and gameplay.
Yeah.
Are very good.
Yeah,
it really feels like I am a fish controlling the momentum of water, controlling a solid object.
Momentum plays a great
momentum
deal
is huge
in this game. Yeah,
huge. Yeah, so it's very demanding. Actually, you really got to think about
it's a hard game.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
First, I was like, oh, this is going to be like Monkey Ball. No, this is Monkey Ball on extra hard mode.
Yeah, because I thought about the comparison too, because I was like, what other ball-based games have I played before that feels familiar? It's kind of it.
Yeah.
And with Monkey Ball, you can usually like force your way backwards. Like you can break essentially pretty easily.
Yeah.
But not so in this game. Like if you want to slow down, it takes a couple of solid seconds.
Yeah.
Of like trying to slow down to actually come to like an actual crawl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It really hammers home. Like you really got to fight against what you're doing to correct course. Really plan ahead. Small motions. Small pushes go a long way.
Exactly. You definitely have to kind of like just tiptoe through the levels for the most part.
Yeah. Did you try the hard mode of
No.
the controls?
You like control like fins independently, right?
You can it is the left stick controls where you're pointing and the right stick is just controlling your fin going back and forth. So to move, you have to keep on pressing back and forth, left and right on the right stick just to like make your fin go. I tried it for a hot second. My brain did not like it one bit. I'm like, nope, I have done too many years of like, this is movement and this is my head. I can't unlearn it.
It's too late.
It's too late. I'm too old. I cannot be a Jedi Knight at this point in my life.
Yeah, no, I didn't even attempt it. I read the description of what that control scheme was like. And I'm like, no, thank you. I can just press forward.
I changed it real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
I love how unstoppable the fish are in this game.
They really are.
They're just fucking relentless. Like this goldfish, he gets to the ocean in like the first level or two and then gets scooped up and taken somewhere else.
Yeah.
And he's like, rather than admitting defeat, I will escape again. I am not going to stay in this fucking attic.
Yeah. I'm not a prisoner.
He gets like,
I'm a fish.
I'm meant to be free. Yeah, I love that part. All the fish, the power of friendship is motivating, I guess is the point of all
of them. We're just like, I need my friends, and I know they're going to be in the ocean.
Can I sandwich one thing that was hard in this game for me?
Yeah.
Between all the stuff that we like? At certain points in the game, you get to control different stuff, like a ball is one of them.
Yeah.
I loved the part where you get into like a mop bucket. So much fun.
Yeah.
Hilarious. You have to like avoid rocks that are on the ground because it'll like slow your mop bucket down.
I got fucked up by those rocks so many times.
Me too. There's like a dude chasing you too while all this is happening.
I had some legit anxiety from that man. I'm
Me too.
scared. It was like Mr. X chasing me behind there.
Yeah. But there you at a certain point you get pulled into a jar, and the jar is hard to control.
The jar is fucked up.
It's so challenging. I got through the levels with the goldfish. There was a couple of jars in there. There's one level with the piranha that controls a jar, and I straight up had to stop playing the video game and go to a different level because I was like, I cannot do this one, I think. There's a section where it essentially turns into like a stealth mission where you are in a jar.
I didn't get to this part.
You're in a jar and there are seagulls flying overhead. And if they see you, after a certain amount of time, they'll come down and swoop you and hit you.
Ooh.
In the normal ball, not that hard, because for the most part, you can kind of direct where you need to go at all times. Mm-hmm. Not so in the jar. The jar, sometimes you'll press a wayward stick and it will go in the complete wrong direction. And you will be left like sitting on the corner of a leg of a chair or something like that.
Oh, no.
All the while exposed to the enemies flying overhead. Yeah, so I did not make it through that section. I had to try a different level, which was good. Actually, the beginning of that piranha level is actually pretty good, where you have to like, you start in a room and you have to pull off a bunch of like leaky faucets to flood the living room, or the kitchen rather, which is very fun. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
You're essentially just like searching in a room for like, where can I like fuck up right now? And then like the water rises and you get like access to different parts of the level. It was good. I like that one.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah, I wish there was a no jar mode for me.
No jar mode.
What else about I Am Fish did you partake? Did you enjoy? Did you just go dark behind your eyes? What happened?
I think I kind of touched on everything that I really enjoyed about it.
Nice.
At least coming to my mind. Anything else that comes to your mind?
Let me see. I love this genre of games. The like tiny, like clutter core kind of video game.
Clutter core.
Where like your perspective is shifted so significantly in like everyday household objects. Like
it's kind of like Katamari.
Yes, exactly.
That's another thing that I thought of when I played this game. It's like, oh, it feels like Katamari level.
It puts an emphasis on like the size of a book that you're like, whoa, that's big. I need to be careful over there.
Right.
And there's a bunch of stuff like that. I think, do you remember those like toy soldier games for like
I do.
N64 and shit? Like similar to that, where like you are clearly in somebody's house. Mm-hmm. It's just fun that like the game is taking place in like a very small space.
Yeah, actually, that reminds me of something else I liked about it, is that I liked how things would move on the level. Like there would be like a track you could see where you were supposed to go, and like how things would be dynamic in that track. Kind of felt like you're on a Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Because things would like crash and like it would open up pathways to different things, and you'd get like hit and you'd go down and you gain velocity, and it'd kind of like just take you and you'd kind of be on like a roller coaster rails a little bit. It's really fun in those spots.
Yeah, I love that stuff because it's not always obvious when it's about to turn into a Rube Goldberg machine. Mm-hmm. Like
all of a sudden it just happens.
Yeah, like you're kind of just going along, trying to be careful, and then like the floor gives out and your thing breaks, and then you have to kind of flop around and like figure out where to go right then. It's like, oh, you fall into this body of water and then you go through this tube, and like that part of it's really fun and was always fairly surprising whenever it happened.
Yeah. Just like all of a sudden,
which I really liked.
Somewhere else.
Yeah, it's like it's always kind of delightful to be like surprised in that way. It reminded me of not the Rube Goldberg things, but the scale of this game reminded me of this game called Toy Commander for Dreamcast. Mm-hmm. I think that's a bit of a deep cut, but you like essentially just controlled a bunch of different toys in a room, and it's like you had like you needed to push over the toilet paper, like fly through a certain amount of hoops, and it reminded me of that a lot, of just like again small scale missions. And in the way that it's, I don't know, it's almost kind of chipper in a way.
Sure. Yeah.
Mr. Mosquito.
Mr. Mosquito.
Where you were tiny in the room.
That could be a good one to do for the podcast, actually. Did we do Mr. Mosquito?
I don't think we did.
Did we do Seaman?
We did not do Seaman. I checked our backlog. We did not do Seaman.
Okay.
I don't think we've done Mr. Mosquito. That game is very bizarre and very interesting. And I remember the video game was horny in a way that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, there's like, go into the bathroom when the lady's in there.
Yes, exactly. And so like that part of it would be
horny in the worst way.
Yeah, like not in a fun Fire Emblem, who might I kiss today kind of way. But like,
is that why you love Fire Emblem so much?
It's part of it. Get to see who to kiss. Never know who you might kiss.
Never know.
Who am I gonna give this ring to that my dad gave me to someday give to my one true love?
Whoa, I didn't know it was that intense.
David, you gotta play the fucking games. You gotta play these video games, my man.
I tried Awakening back in the day.
Yeah.
I with these games, I always get like quarter of the way through and then I just lose interest. But I'm ready to try it again.
Yeah, I maybe you can give love another chance.
Maybe.
You should play the Golden Deer first.
The Golden Deer?
Yeah, in 3 houses. There's houses that you can choose from, and the Golden Deer is
you
superior.
mean the Baratheons?
Trying to think of a comparison.
The Baratheons are stags, and their colors are...
Yeah. I don't think so. I think the Baratheons might be closer to the Blue Lions in this game. Like they're kind of old school a little bit.
Sure.
In their beliefs about like the kingdom and shit like that.
Okay.
The Golden Deer are like, I don't know. They're like, what if we just like change the whole thing instead? And we're also like cool. And maybe Claude is hitting on you sometimes.
Oh.
That's really nice.
Claude's
Claude's a real charmer, man.
Okay.
Calls you Teach.
Teach.
Knocks my socks off every time.
When he says Teach?
Yeah, come on. What am I supposed to do?
I'm only a man here.
But a man, dude.
But a man. Call me Teach.
He winks every now and then when he says that.
Hey, Teach.
It's never like a creepy way. He's just kind of being flirty. And
It's
like
just his personality. He's a flirt.
It's just his personality. Yeah, he's kind of like a happy-go-lucky, like not really threatening dude. And like, you know, maybe it could turn into something more, but like he's always going to be like this if it's all good. And you know what? If you told him to stop, he'd be like, yeah, sure.
What a guy.
My consensual king, Claude.
Consensual King Claude.
Yeah.
King Claude.
I think he might take onus with that. I think he did not want to be royalty. You gotta play the video games. Dave.
Three Houses.
Is
that your favorite?
Yes. I think you asked me this a while ago. And I think the answer is yes.
What's your second favorite?
Probably Awakening, the 3DS one. But I'm at that point, I'm in it for the video game rather than like
the story
or like the characters or anything. Like just the mechanics of it, I'm really into.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so I Am Fish was a pretty good game, I think.
I enjoyed it.
It's concise in a way that I always appreciate. Like it's not huge or gigantic. So far as I can tell, I presume the game ends when you get all the fish to the end of it.
Yeah, I was looking at some playthroughs and it seemed like that's what happened.
So like, I love that part of it. I swear we say this every week, but a great Game Pass game. Like not huge in scope.
Yep, jump in, have some fun.
It reminds me a lot of like the kinds of games that were coming out of like the Dreamcast era where like it's not a huge game and it's really not trying to be a huge game either. It's just sort of like, well, here's the thing we're doing. And like, that's fine. That's good enough this week. So like, I'm really glad that these scale of video games are like have a platform that isn't just like, well, I hope our indie game sells well on Steam. It's like, no, it's a Game Pass game. You can go play it now. So that's great. I love that.
Get that Game Pass. It's good for you.
Get that Game Pass. It's good for you.
That's free marketing for you. Microsoft Game Pass. It's good for you.
Bill, you can read that one or you can just play that one on the radio if you want to. Where all the gamers hang out.
Ooh.
The radio.
Where all the gamers hang out. Game Pass. There you go.
No, I was saying the gamers hang out on the radio.
Yeah, I know. And I was taking that for Game Pass, Chase. Keep up. Come on.
It's hard. David,
very fast pace. Very fast paced comedy.
Comedy is hard. I gotta
You sounded like Jim Gaffigan right there.
David, comedy is hard.
That's definitely a Jim Gaffigan voice.
Yeah, dude.
He's funny man.
The king of comedy.
You love Jim Gaffigan, don't you?
I think it was funny.
Who was that one guy that you told me about in elementary school that you loved? They call me Tater Salad.
That's probably fucking Dane Cook knowing me, but
Ron White?
Yes, Ron White is Tater Salad. You're correct. Who I think was pretty funny, but in as an adult man saying that I enjoy the white collar comedy tour as a young boy that's a bit of a challenging idea.
Blue collar?
Now that blue collar comedy tour that he was a part of.
He was a part of it.
Yes, yeah, it was him, Jeff Foxworthy,
Larry the Cable Guy,
and the one everybody remembers, Bill Engvall, I believe, was the other dude.
He's the fifth Beatle.
He was also funny.
Doesn't have the same name cachet as the other three, though.
He should have Larry the Cable Guy himself. Like, just come up with a moniker. Ron White's pretty memorable.
Ron White, yeah.
What is this podcast we're doing right now? What is this?
Bill Engvall, born in Galveston, Texas in 1957.
Listen, you can stay here in this segment. I'm going to go over to the outro. I'll meet you over there, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, see you soon.
All right, see ya. Hey everybody, we are on Twitter.
Yeah, we are.
At Podtimism.
Yeah.
We have a Gmail.
We do.
Podtimism@gmail.com.
Got it in one.
VG Podtimism or just Podtimism?
Both exist, but Podtimism is the easier.
Podtimism@gmail.com. We have a TikTok.
Yeah, we do.
at Podtimism.
Yeah, we got that one locked down. Don't worry.
Down. Here we go. If you really want to do us a favor, you can leave us a review on iTunes, Apple iTunes, or Spotify. Is that correct? You can review things on Spotify.
You can do it. Yep. Yeah, Apple. You can do it on Apple Podcasts. You can do it on Spotify. I think Spotify is just like a rating out of 5. So hit that one. It's easy as hell. I've done it for other pods. It's much easier than writing a Apple podcast review.
Good time.
I think you have to download iTunes or have Apple Podcasts on your phone to do it. That kind of sucks.
No thanks. Too much work.
It's too much work for a podcast.
Yeah. Thank you, Scout Wilkinson.
Yes.
For this amazing pod art.
Mm-hmm.
Hit her up if you need any art or artistic things. She's great.
Yeah. I bet she'll just if you pay her, I bet she'll tell you some positive affirmations too. I bet that's a thing she can do.
Sure. Most
definitely.
But
you should probably pay her for art. She'll probably DM us and be
probably understands that more normal for her.
Yeah, I shouldn't be advertising services that I do not know Scout provides.
Don't bother Scout for positive affirmations.
Yeah, bother me for that. I can provide those. That's a great thing
it's a great thing to tweet at us. If you need a positive affirmation, tweet Chase or myself on our Twitter, and we'll give you a compliment. We'll say something nice. Yeah. Something nice about you. And most of all, thank you.
Thank you
for your time. And your attention.
Yeah. Yes.
We appreciate it. And we would also appreciate if you would, spread the pod love. Spread it around to your buds if you like.
Yeah.
Let them know.
Which again, I have seen some of since the beginning of the year. So thanks for those of you who do.
Yeah.
And also thanks to those of you who don't, who are just hanging out, vibing every couple of weeks.
Vibe with us, man.
Vibe with us. Thanks. We appreciate you listening.
Yeah.
It's great. I love making this show. I love hanging out with my friend David.
I'm Brick. I am Lamp. I love Lamp.
Yeah, same.
Sorry, I just watched Anchorman. It was in my head.
Yeah, it's on your brain.
It's on my brain.
Got that early 2000s all up in that dome right now.
It's real.
Got the white collar, blue collar comedy tour and Anchorman.
The white collar comedy tour would be a very interesting thing to see. It's Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh, this is a really bad comedy tour, David. These there's not a funny dude among them.
But I mean, it would be comedy just to see them attempt comedy, don't you think?
It's hard to think about this, if I'm being honest. Every one of them would bring a new variety of bummer to the word joke.
Elon would probably say something vaguely racist.
Horrible. Yeah, just he would get up there and I think put the most obvious of bricks up, say something that is objectively shitty.
Yeah.
I think Mark's attempt would be much worse and much sadder.
I think Mark would probably say something that only makes sense if you're a lizard person.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if he started speaking in lizard speak, that would be cool. That might be kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think my man has laughed in a couple of years. Have you seen what he looks like recently? That's not the face of a man who's enjoyed humor.
I mean, his company just lost a third of its value, so it's a lot of money out of his pockets. It's probably a sad man. He's
probably a sad man. There is no clown for him to laugh at. But Doctor, who will be the richest man in the world? little Pagliacci joke.
I know, I got you. Watchmen, baby. I love it. So good. Pagliacci. I am Pagliacci.
I think Buffett would come closest to telling a joke.
I think Buffett is the dark horse here.
He might be funny. That is true.
Yeah.
But there's a distinct chance that he's not.
He just comes out and does a backflip and just starts tap dancing.
Dude, that would genuinely be a very good show. I would the other three would be opening acts for Warren Buffett doing a backflip. I would go to that. And yeah, no, Bill's not. He's not going to be joking around, man.
Yeah.
I don't think he's quite as unhumorous or awful as the other dudes, but he's still a billionaire.
Yeah. And then Jeff just zooms in from space.
Yeah.
Is that your Jeff Bezos impersonation?
Have you seen him laugh? It's horrifying.
No, I've never seen him say anything, honestly. He's a very mysterious man to me.
I would put a clip of him laughing in here, but I don't think I want to curse this audio quite as much as that would entail. It's when he got back from space.
I saw God.
I went to the moon. Yorha said humanity was dead.
Hell yes. That's too intense.
It's not great. It's not a good listen. Could you ask me about the wisdom, please?
Oh yeah. What Do you have any video game wisdom for the week?
Don't be a billionaire. Stop being billionaires. I think
is that the wisdom?
Yeah.
Stop being billionaires?
We should stop doing billionaires. We should stop having them.
Billionaires are canceled?
We should just so the money that they have, don't.
What about $999,999 millionaires?
I think that's too close, David.
How close is too close? You got to be 98? Are you okay there?
I think, no, once you get to $1 billion, you get a cool trophy and a pat on the back.
It says biggest shithead on it.
It says, congrats, you beat capitalism. You did it. And
rare achievement, unlock platinum trophy.
The little diamond appears at the bottom of your screen, and Xbox achievement pops up. And
the military industrial complex gives you a high five. You get to meet them in the flesh. What are the arms dealers?
Raytheon? Raytheon is the one I was thinking on. Raytheon comes and gives you a high five.
Mr. Raytheon himself.
It's their mascot. It's Raytheon the combat cat who comes up and says, "You did it. Congratulations."
Do they really have a mascot?
They do not have a mascot.
Oh man, they would be Raytheon the combat cat though. It's a cat with a laser on its head.
An ever-developing arsenal that it's just got in a bag behind it.
Every time they make a product, there's one extra piece of weaponry on the cat until it's just a tank at the end.
This is genuinely a good transition into the next episode that we do. You should listen to the end of this one before you listen to the Metal Gear one, because that was this is really appropriate.
Oh, I even said military industrial complex.
I know.
Wow.
The animal thing with combat cat, and then damn. We got Metal Gear on the brain.
It's always on the brain. Always prescient.
Stay safe, kids, and every week do what Raytheon the combat cat says. Keep fighting wars.
That's it. They're great.
It's Tony the Tiger. He's had a very dark second half of his career.
He sure has.
Anyway, see you next week for Metal Gear. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Come back and hang out. It's gonna be cool.
See ya.
Okay, bye.